I've mixed over 200 metal bands at this point, and I can tell you, the same 3 mistakes show up in my inbox over and over again. And the worst part, most bands have no idea they're making them. By the time the tracks land on my desk, the damage is already done, and it's costing them hundreds of dollars in extra mix time. Look, I love that bands are self-recording. Seriously, home recording has gotten insanely good, and it saves you a ton of money. But there's a difference between recording at home and recording well at home. And when you send tracks to a mix engineer that have these problems baked in, there's only so much we can do. It's like handing a chef rotten ingredients and asking for a 5-star meal. So, let's break these down, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean with real examples. Mistake number 1, and this is one I see constantly. It's sending me live drum tracks that were recorded with old, beat-up drum heads and terrible mic placement. Here's what happens. You've got heads that haven't been changed in 2 years. They're dead. They're out of tune. They've got no resonance. And then on top of that, the mic's are placed in a way that you're getting massive phase issues between the overheads and the close mics and bleed that is just everywhere. Listen to this. You hear how thin and hollow that snare sounds? That's phase cancellation. The overhead mic and the close mics are fighting each other. And also notice how washy the cymbals sound? Now check this out. Hear all that cymbal bleed in the tom mics? That's going to sound like an absolute mess the second I try and compress or gate anything. Now here's the thing, I can do a lot with sample replacement and phase alignment, but when the raw tracks are this compromised, I'm spending an extra hour or two just trying to get them to a usable starting point. That's time the band is paying for. The fix is honestly not that complicated. Change your heads before you track, tune them, and spend 20 minutes actually checking your mic placement. Make sure your overheads are equidistant from the snare. Listen for phase between every mic pair, and position the mics to minimize bleed. That alone will transform your drum sound. And if you're not sure how to do that, I've got a free drum recording guide linked in the description that walks you through the whole process step by step. Okay, mistake number 2. And honestly, this is the one that kills me the most because it's the ones bands almost never realize they're making. Bad arrangements. Here's what I mean. I'll open up a session and there are 4 rhythm guitar tracks, all playing the same thing. A bass that's doubling the guitars just an octave down, a synth pad taking up the same frequency range, and then the vocalist is wondering why their voice sounds buried. Well, it's because every instrument is fighting for the same space. It's like trying to fit 5 people through a doorway all at the same time. Nobody gets through clean. When I solo each instrument, they sound fine. But the second everything plays together, it turns into this wall of mud. And no amount of EQ or mixing tricks is going to fix a fundamental arrangement problem. When you clean up your arrangement, everything has room to breathe. The guitars will sound wider, the bass will be tighter, and the vocals will cut right through. And I know what some of you are thinking, but more layers equals heavier, right? No, more layers equals blurrier. Heaviness comes from clarity, not clutter. The heaviest records you've ever heard, most of them have surprisingly few tracks, and the ones that do have a lot of layers, they're arranged really well. So before you send tracks to a mix engineer, ask yourself, does every track serve a unique purpose? If 2 tracks are doing the same job, pick the better one and cut the other. Your mix engineer will thank you, and your song will sound 10 times more powerful. All right, mistake number 3, and this one should be obvious, but I hear it in probably 60% of the sessions I get. Sloppy takes, especially on guitar and bass. I'm talking about fret buzz on every other note, fingers brushing against strings they shouldn't be touching, pick noise, loose muting, it all adds up. And here's the problem. When you're monitoring at a bedroom level with no processing, you might not even hear it. But the second I put a compressor on that track or a high gain amp, which I'm going to do, every single one of those little noises gets amplified. First, let's listen to just a DI. Doesn't sound too bad, right? But now let's listen to the guitars after running through an amp. Hear all that extra garbage, that annoying resonance you hear? The amp grabs all that and pushes it right up in your face. And the thing that really sucks about this is these performances are actually really good. They just didn't take the time to minimize noise while they were recording. Now, I'm not saying you need to play like a robot. Some grit and aggression is part of the genre, obviously. But there's a difference between controlled aggression and sloppy playing. If you wouldn't keep that take in a professional studio with a producer standing right behind you, don't keep it in your home studio just because no one's watching. And honestly, this is the easiest one to fix. Just do one more take. If there's a section you're struggling with, punch it in. There's zero shame in it. Every professional guitarist punches in. The goal is the best possible performance on tape, not proving you could play it in one shot. Clean up your muting, make sure your intonation is set, and just listen back critically before you bounce and send. That 5 minutes of quality control will save your mix engineer and your mix a massive headache. So real quick, the 3 biggest mistakes I see when bands self-record and send me tracks to mix. Number 1 is tracking drums with dead heads, bad tuning, and sloppy mic placement. Number 2 is bad arrangements where everything is fighting for the same frequency space. And number 3 are sloppy guitars and bass takes full of noise that compression and an amp is just going to expose. Fix these 3 things and I promise you, your mixes will come back sounding dramatically better, whether you're sending them out or mixing them yourself. If you want to go deeper on any of this, I've got free recording guides for drums, guitar, bass, vocals, and mix prep linked down in the description. Grab those. They're completely free. And if you've got tracks that are ready for a professional mix, hit me up. There's a link in the description to contact me. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Drop a comment and let me know. Which one of these mistakes have you been guilty of? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.